How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Aaron Loves Wrestling Podcast, AEW, and I'm here to review the AEW Collision from Saturday night. And don't forget, tomorrow's AEW Dynamite Spring Breakthrough, and Thursday, Collision is now on Thursday this week instead of Saturday. AEW Collision will be Thursday night at 7. So tune in tomorrow night and Thursday night to catch the Spring Breakthrough when AEW outlasted WCW Monday Night Nitro. Yes, this is great for AEW. I'm glad it's lasted this long. We're going on 6 years of the company being around, and I'm hoping for many more. So let's get into it. AEW Collision made FTR come out after they turned on Rated R Cope or Adam Copeland. I'm gonna call him Adam Copeland because to me it sounds better. So Adam Copeland betrayed him at AEW Dynasty. So we had FTR come out and give their reasoning. They stated that they put their career on hold for Adam Copeland, and that it was because Adam Copeland and his they wanted him to help him become the AEW World Champion. And then Adam Copeland used them to try and go get the Trios Championship. So FTR gave their reasoning in the promo. Great promo, by the way. FTR is the greatest tag team in AEW, in my honest opinion, and it would be great for them to hold the tag team belts again. We also have had Tony Schiavone get in the ring and say a few words and almost got a beat down from FTR, but Nigel McGuinness came to the save, and then Daniel Garcia came out to Nigel McGuinness to save him, and FTR turned around, pushed whoever it was over. They didn't know at the time, and then once they realized it was Daniel Garcia, they backed off, hugged, and left the ring. And then so FTR, it looks like it's going to be leading up to Adam Copeland and Christian Cage reuniting, and we get them back together, and then they'll face FTR and whoever wins that match. We'll see. That'd be great. That'd be great for an AEW All In Texas, which I'm going to, and I can't wait. So after that, we had the opening match, which was the Owen Hart Cup tournament, women's tournament, with Jamie Hayter facing off against Billy Starks. And this was a great match by them. It went almost 20 minutes long, and both of them nailed it. I mean, that suplex out on the out to the floor. Even I cringed a little bit. It looked like it hurt. But both of these ladies had a great match. Jamie Hayter came out with the victory. And Billy Starks, if they build around her, she could be a future Ring of Honor World Champion. Honestly, in my opinion, it would be great to see Billy Starks defeat Athena for the Ring of Honor World Women's Championship, because, I mean, she is a student. It'd be a nice classic student versus master type storyline for the title. Billy Starks can win the title, and then Athena can go on into AEW and focus on the AEW Women's Championships. So that would be my take on that. Then we went from that to the Gates of Agony in a squash tag team match. I'm not a fan of squash tag team matches, or squash matches in general, because to me it doesn't make the wrestler or wrestlers look, or the tag team look strong. I mean, you feed local talent, which great to all the local talent that showed up and put over the AEW talent, and it was great for them to get some exposure on TV. But I just not a fan of these squash matches. I remember the other company doing it back in the day with many other wrestlers, especially your big, strong, or giant ones, and they squash them in like 2 minutes. So I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it, in my honest opinion. But Gates and Agony had a great, really good squash match. It was roughly 5 minutes long, if that. But it was good for them, and I like Gates of Agony. I think they're going to be a great addition to the tag team division, and it'll be great for them to even compete for the AEW Tag Team Championships, or even go after the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, who are held by the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. I think that would be good for them to drop the titles of Gates of Agony, because Gates of Agony is good. I really like them. I'm really getting behind them. I love seeing them on AEW. I've watched them a little bit of Ring of Honor, so they could be the future Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, in my opinion. Maybe even AEW Tag Team Champions. They face Hurt Syndicate tomorrow night on Dynamite for the AEW Tag Team titles. So we'll see. But good match by them. And then we had a great match with Kevin Knight versus AR Fox. I mean, that match was awesome. Loved it. Both those guys put it out there. It was a great match. Kevin Knight came out the victory, and I think he's going to be a future either international or, if the Continental Championship is still around, Continental Champion. Remember going around that Kenny Omega and Okada are going to unify those titles. They're going to put both titles on the line. I think if it does happen, it'll be AEW All in Texas, but I think it would be better if it happened at Double or Nothing and have the All In type, going all in, fitting the pay-per-view of the casino and gambling and all that stuff. So I think that would be great. I think it would be better to happen there than AEW All in Texas. But if it happens at AEW All in Texas, I'm not going to complain because I'm going and I can't wait. But it was a good match. Kevin Knight's going to be a future star in the company, and I like how he signed with AEW because AEW has been treating him really well and been putting him in some big-time matches and not just slowly bringing him in. They're putting him in there. So, love it. It's great. Going to enjoy his time in the company and see where he goes and what titles he wins. He also had the squash match with Megan Bain versus two local talent, the ladies. Again, not a fan of it. I mean, it was basically them put Megan Bain over. You knew the other ladies weren't going to win, but we had it. It was alright, but not a fan of it. But Megan Bain is a future within the women's division. I think she will be a future women's world champion, maybe even TBS champion, to see which route they go with first. But she's going to be great within that women's division. We also had the FTR facing Daddy Magic and Cool Hand. They had a backstage segment earlier in the show, challenged each other, good tag match. FTR comes out with the win, beat down Daddy Magic, a lot of blood, awesome. And then as they were beating them down some more, here comes the Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. They come out and they defend off FTR. FTR exits. So we'll see where this goes. I think it'll be FTR versus Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly here soon. And we'll see what happens to Adam Cole's the TNT champion. I'm glad he's TNT champion. I'm glad he's won a singles title. God knows how long. Someone said it's been since 2020. If that's the case, man, that's a long time. But I'm glad he has won his singles title. He's going to be a great TNT champion. And also can't wait to see what future feuds he has for that title. So that was a great match. And then we had we had Harley Cameron versus Athena, another great match. Athena came out with the victory, so now we're getting the fantasy match between Mercedes Moné and Athena in the Owen Hart Cup Women's Tournament, and we'll see who moves on to the finals. Personally, I think it's going to be Athena, and then she's going to win the whole tournament, and then she's going to go face for the AEW Women's Championship at her hometown and All In. If it's not Athena, I think it's going to be Jamie Hayter, and we're going to see them come back to that rivalry between Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm when they had the feud back in 22 for the AEW Women's Championship, and Jamie Hayter won off Toni Storm. So this is going to be interesting how the Owen Hart Cup Women's Tournament goes, and we'll see where it takes us. But good match by the ladies, solid. Great back and forth. Athena's finisher is awesome. Loved it. So we'll see where this takes us. Now we're in the main event. My boy, Brody King. Ho, ho. He comes out, and then you also had Takeshita comes out, and that was a great match. It was a good match, and it was good that they were showing Brody King with how strong he is, because Takeshita comes out and he tries to do some clotheslines and with his arm and everything. Brody King don't go down, so it was a good match between those two. Takeshita comes out with the win, and he moves on to the semifinals to face Will Ospreay, and that's going to be a great match. So we're going to see who moves on to the finals from there. I think out of those two, it's going to be think it's going to be Takeshita, and I think it's going to be him facing Adam Page, and we're going to get that in the finals. Adam Page is going to defeat whoever the wild card is tomorrow night. I think it's going to be Jack Perry in his return. I think it is. If you look back at Jon Moxley way back, there was someone shared a video on X, and it was Jon Moxley complimenting Jack Perry. You also had the Young Bucks, and now they're trying to work with the Death Riders. So I think honestly it's going to be Jack Perry. We're going to have Adam Page versus Jack Perry tomorrow night on AEW Dynamite in the Owen Hart Cup Men's Tournament. But overall, I think Adam Page is going to win this thing. And I think we're going to get Adam Page versus Jon Moxley, AEW All in Texas, for the AEW World Championship. And Adam Page is going to defend the honor of AEW and fight for AEW against the Death Riders. And I think we're also at AEW All In. We're going to get Swerve Strickland and Kenny Omega teaming up. And I think it's going to be against the Young Bucks. That's what I think is going to go down. That's what I think is going to be laid out and set up for AEW All in Texas, and that's what we're going to go into. So that's my AEW Collision review. Takeshita comes out with the victory. Moving on in the semifinals, we'll get the semifinals match this week. So don't miss AEW Dynamite. Don't miss AEW Collision and find out who's going to win. Great, solid Collision. Collision has been on a roll lately. I mean, they've had solid shows these past few weeks. To me, it's the better brand out of the two. I enjoyed Dynamite, but Collision has been better and consistent and has been on a roll. And I love the arena and the presentation. I love the red ropes. I love the ring. I just think it just looks cleaner and better. I don't mind the Dynamite ring, but I wish they'd go back to the old school one where it was the black ropes and the black and gold type look, or black and yellow, whichever. I would love for that to happen, and then we go back to that, because the new look, the multicolored look that they got going on right now, I'm not a big fan of it. I wasn't a big fan when they announced it, and when they showed it, still not a huge fan of it. That's just my opinion, but it doesn't take away from the great wrestling that we see each Wednesday night and Saturday night in AEW. We have some great matches. We got some stories going on, and a lot of people, they have spoken their negativity about it, because a lot of people focus on stories instead of great matches. But if you really think about it, you go back to the old days of the territory wrestling with AWA and WA and etc. They didn't really focus on stories all that much. They focused on wrestling. And so that's what AEW kind of reminds me of, is the old school. Of course, they got the new, they got the guys doing the acrobatic and the high flying that the old school didn't have, but they still got great wrestling matches, and they got good matchups each and every week. So that's why I enjoy it, and that's why I enjoy watching Dynamite and Collision each and every week. And of course, there's some things I can take away, as you have heard. Spoke some criticism, oh my gosh, but it doesn't take away from how good AEW is going right now with Dynamite and Collision. So I'm enjoying it, and I love it, and I'm glad we got some good AEW wrestling going on each and every week. Can't wait for Wednesday and Thursday with Dynamite and Collision. We'll review those shows. I will review those shows on Friday before SmackDown. So tune in Friday to see my review of both shows. But solid Collision, love it. Enjoy y'all's day. Enjoy Dynamite and Collision tomorrow night and Thursday night. Remember, Collision is Thursday night, not Saturday night. Have a good day. Love y'all.